All right, let's take a look at this pre-quiz. So we're starting with this, right? And what we're doing is we're saying, oh, the square root of 62 is in between, right? In between which two of these numbers, and then we're deciding and estimating to the nearest tenth. Okay, so square root of 82. Okay, so what I'm looking is I'm going to look along the diagonal of this multiplication chart because these numbers along the diagonal, like, look, the square root of 64 is 8. The square root of 81 is 9. The square root of 100 is 10. These are the whole number square roots. Okay, now 82 is like right after 81. So it's going to be in between 81 and 100. So when I take the square root of 81, I get 9. And when I take the square root of 100, I get 10. So this is going to be a number between 9 and 10. And that 82 is really close to 81. So what I'm looking for is a number that's between 9 and 10 and way closer to 9. Okay, so that would be 9.1. Okay, right? That's in between 9 and 10, right? But like if here, look, this is like 9.1, 9.2, 9.3, 9.4, 9.5, 9.6, 9.7, 9.8, 9.9, 10. Okay, so 9.1 would be way closer to 9. Okay, square root of 20. Square root of 20 is in between the square root of 16 and the square root of 25. The square root of 16 is 4, and the square root of 25 is 5. Okay, now 20 is kind of like halfway between 16 and 25, right? It's like 4 away from 16, it's 5 away from 25. That's pretty close to the middle. So what's halfway between 4 and 5? That would be 4.5, right? Like if we use these dots again, 4.1 is all the way over here. 4.5 is in the middle. This is 4.9 over here, right? 4.5 is right in the middle. And finally, square root of 35 is in between 25 and 36. So when I take the square root, it's going to be between 5 and 6. And this one is really close to 36, right? It's like the number right before 36. And so what I'm looking for is a number that's in between 5 and 6, but really close to 6, like here, right? Remember, this was 5.1, 5.2, 5.3. This number really close to 6 is 5.9. All right, let's keep going. I'm factoring. So for 108, you can feel free to come and find it up here. You have a nice big multiplication chart. It's 12 and 9. This becomes 3 and 3, 3 and 4. Don't forget to keep factoring the 4. Okay, so now my prime factorization is this. And what I notice, right, is this double 3, right? This becomes this in its own house, and then the same is going to happen with this double 2, and the single 3 gets left out. Now what happens? 3 times 3 is 9. The square root of 9 is 3. So this just becomes the number 3. This just becomes the number 2. And then we have the square root of 3 here. 3 times 2, this is 6 root 3. Okay. 18, nice small number this time. Start with 9 and 2. Okay, so here we just have a little bit less going on. Remember my doubles. Look, I'm going to skip this step this time. I'm not going to write it in its own house. I know what happens. This one goes in its own house, and it becomes just a 3 on the outside. This one doesn't get to simplify because it's not a double, and it stays on the inside. And here's my answer. All right, let's go. Now look, hey, this 6, okay, it was a common mistake on the quiz to kind of involve this 6 too early. Just bring it to the outside and ignore it. Okay, let's do 5 and 10. 5 is prime. We're just simplifying this square root of 50, and then we'll bring the 6 back. So here's my double 5. So remember, that's going to become, right, this is going to become the square root of 25, which is 5. And then this is just going to be the square root of 2, and that stays. Now, bring the 6 back. So this is 6 times that. So this is going to become 6 times 5, right? So what I'm doing right now is 6 times 5, root 2. And so then I multiply 30 root 2. Okay, here, I'm going to write this out so you can really just see the variables behave exactly like the numbers do. Okay, double, 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 single. Okay, this double x becomes an x on the outside. This double x becomes an x on the outside. This double x becomes an x on the outside. This double y becomes a y on the outside. And the single y doesn't simplify. Okay, so then the way that we write this is x cubed y root y. 32. And I start with 8 and 4 here. And I end up with just a bunch of 2's. Okay, so look, it's 5 2s. Look, and I circled, so I'm not going to miss any. And then watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the A's and the B's all in the same row. I like to just deal with it all at once because then look, I'm just doing the same thing all the way through. Double, double, single, double, single, double, double. Okay, each of the doubles comes to the outside. So on the outside, I'm going to have 2 times A times B times B. And on the inside, I just have my 2 singles. Let's multiply this together. 2 times 2 is 4. A, and then I'm going to write B squared. Last one. Okay, again, look, bring this 4n down, but don't involve it till later. For 16, let's do 8 and 6. Okay, so I have, okay, double 2. Oh, I forgot my ends. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So double 2, single 3, double n, double n, double n, single n. Okay, so here on the outside, look, is this 4n. Okay, that's on the outside. Now look, this, I like to just put things all together. Okay, I know some people like to do it like the number separate and the variable separate, but then if I just do it all kind of in one thing, then it's less likely to have mistakes. So this 2 comes to the outside, this 2 comes to the outside. That 3 is going to stay on the inside. So then this is an n, another n, and then what's left on the inside is this single 3 and this single n right here. Let's multiply it all together. 4 times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. This is n times n times n times n. There's a total of 4 n's out here. And here is my answer. All right, last one, or last row. Here I notice it's just x squared out in front, so right away I know that's going to be x and x. I'm looking for 2 numbers that multiply to negative 77 and add to negative 4. For me, anything with like 77, 66, I right away think of 11, so I think this is going to be 7 times 11, which is perfect because if I'm multiplying to a negative, I need 1 positive, 1 negative, and these numbers do subtract to 4. I want them to add to negative 4, so I'm going to make the larger number negative and the smaller number positive. Okay, over here, I notice first that there is no greatest common factor, right? 4 doesn't multiply to 9, and then 2 also doesn't multiply to 9, so no GCF. I know that this times this has to equal this, and this times this has to equal this, and this times this plus this times this has to equal the 20x. I'm going to start with 4x and x, but I know that I might need to change that to 2x and 2x. Okay, and let's try 3 and 3 on the 9. And I'm making everything positive. So let's see, this is 12x plus 3x. That's 15x. That's no good. Okay, let's say I could change it to 9 and 1 first, or I could change it to 2 and 2 first. Let's do the 2 and 2. See how that goes. Make this 2x and 2x. So let's see. That's 2x times 3. That's 6x plus another 6x. That's 12x. That doesn't work. Okay, let's try to throw a 9 and a 1 in there. 2x times 9, that's 18x. 1 times 2x plus 2x. Oh, there we go. That equals 20x, and this is my answer.